appoint Ronald Koeman as new manager.
Details of these and more after this break. I am Omoye Ogbede. People's Democratic Party and Governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, said his administration's 30-year plan has ample provision for leveraging land opportunities in the state's coastal and riverbank communities to engage youths and women to create wealth. The governor said this on Monday when the PDP took the governor's re-election campaign to residents living in Ulishi and Ifeku communities on the bank of River Niger in Esan Southeast local government area of the state. The governor, who traced his maternal links to the communities, promised to support businesses in the area to create job opportunities for youths and women in the locality under the 30-year long-term master plan for the state if re-elected. Welcoming the PDP campaign team to Ilushi, the traditional ruler Ifeku community, Igwe Patrick Enye, endorsed Governor Obaseki and his running mate, Comrade Philip Shuaibu, for the September 19, 2020 governorship election in the state, citing their performance since 2016. Enye, who prayed for members of the entourage, also drew the attention of his guests to the problem of power supply in the area. Edo State Governor and candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Governor Obaseki, has flagged off harvesting in Usugbenu Farms settlement in Irua, Esan Central local government area of the state. The governor, who continued his word-to-word campaign in Edo Central Senatorial District on Tuesday, ahead of the September 19, 2020 governorship election in the state, assured that tons of grains from the 475 acres will only put food on the tables of Nigerians, but the excess will be exported. He said the feat was achieved through the government's efforts aimed at encouraging young Nigerians in the state to venture into mechanized farming under the state's agripreneur program. Obaseki assured that farmers in different parts of the state, including Usugbenu, Ugboha, Sobe, Wake, and Agbade, are expected to embark on rotational farming after the harvesting is completed. One of the operators of the harvesters, simply identified as Danjuma, described the government's initiative as phenomenal, noting that the government provided machines for plowing as well as high-quality seedlings and fertilizer. A tricycle, otherwise known as Keke Napep, and motorcycle riders, popularly known as Okada, have thrown their weight behind the re-election bid of Governor Godwin Obaseki and his deputy, Comrade Philip Shuaibu. The union, which came under an umbrella called Anawat, declared their support for the governor on Tuesday after a solidarity march to Government House, Benin.
The riders are here to identify with the second-term aspiration of Governor Godwin Obaseki and his deputy, Comrade Philip Shuaibu. The spokesperson for the group and Secretary General of Tricycle and Motorcycle Riders Union in Edo State, Comrade Daniel Ayebweni, said the riders have fared better under this administration due to the revenue collection method and wouldn't want to return to the old era.
We are here to pledge our support and endorse the second term of our governor, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, and Right Honorable Comrade Philip Shuaibu. We are here to demonstrate our commitments. You are well aware that we are coming from Egypt, and we do not want to return back to Egypt. You know the oppression. If you look at this class of workers, they are informal. The informal sector has suffered from the hands of taskmasters. Before now, revenue were collected from them at God points. But I tell you today, the way a manner revenue is collected from them has a human face. And they are here to say no to oppression. We are not going back to Egypt.
They are also grateful to the government for some tax waivers granted them in the past, pledging to return the favor by voting the governor come September 19th.
We are here to also thank him because for 11 months running, he has exempted this class of workers from payment of revenue in order to organize sale. Today in Edo State, if you find a tricycle, you look at the plate number, you key it in, you'll be able to identify the rider. This government has ensured that everyone in the riding space of Edo State can easily be identified. Thank you, Your Excellency. We are prepared and ready on the 19th of September 2020 to demonstrate this commitment further by voting you for a second year.
Receiving the riders, the special advisor to the governor on political matters, Edo South, Honorable Osaibovo Iyoha, thanked the group and assured them that the government will always be on their side.
We want to say thank you for your support, and you know the governor has not disappointed you from day one, and he will not disappoint you. Do you want Agbero to come back to come and collect your money? The lions and the tigers that belong to the cage, do you want them to come and start collecting revenue from you? Una like the way we take they collect money from Una? Yes! Una say I'm is digital, no wayo. I know you people have a very, very clear conscience. After you vote, stand. After you can't vote, you take your result, you write them.
On his part, the special advisor to the governor on media and communication strategy, Mr. Crusoe Osaige, sensitized members of the union on how to ensure that their vote counted on the election day.
On that day when we reach election venue, the unit when for the vote, we not go see Obaseki name for the ballot. We know. Yes. Now umbrella we go see that day. And if you want to vote for Obaseki, where you go put your finger? Umbrella. You go press them for umbrella. If you press up for umbrella, who you vote for?
The riders had posters, banners and stickers of the PDP candidate and his running mate. Chinedu Ekeja, KUFM News.
An independent National Electoral Commission says a total of 2,210,534 residents have registered to vote in the governorship election in Edo State on September 19. Of the total registered voters, 1,159,325 are men, 1,052,209 are women, while youths between the ages of 18 and 35 makes up 50% of the voters. This was stated at the presentation of voter register to the 14 political parties taking part in the election at the INEC office in Benin. According to the register, the South Senatorial District has the highest number of registered voters, while the Central Senatorial District has the least voters. It also stated that 483,769 voters failed to collect their PVCs. INEC National Commissioner supervising Edo, Bayelsa and Rivers States, May Agbamuchembu, said the election would be held under strict adherence to the NCDC guidelines on COVID-19. And the House of Representatives has suspended its investigative hearing on Nigeria's external borrowings and commercial agreements with other countries, especially China. The House Committee on Treaties, Protocols and Agreements had invited several ministers and top officials of the federal government to the third hearing on Tuesday. Chairman of the committee, Nicholas Osai, who led members of the panel, called for the adjournment of the hearing. Osai said the lawmakers needed to scrutinize the documents already presented to it, while the panel would also demand explanations from the Ministry of Justice on loans and agreements. The committee therefore resolves to adjourn till Tuesday next week. House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila has expressed the readiness of the institution to partner the Nigerian insurance sector to improve services to Nigerians. Gbajabiamila, who spoke when he hosted the Nigerian Insurance Association (NIA) during a courtesy visit in his office in Abuja on Tuesday, said the insurance sector was an important one to the nation. The chairman of the association, Ganiyu Musa, who led the delegation, had earlier told the speaker that the insurance industry needed the support of the House to make the sector better. And a civil society organization, Laws and Rights Awareness Initiative, LRAI, has asked the Federal High Court in Abeokuta to stop the digital identification cards being introduced by the National Identity Management Commission to replace the plastic national identity cards. The suit followed NIMC's recent announcement that it was dumping plastic ID cards for digital identification. In the suit, the incorporated trustees of the CSO noted that the NIMC software was not secure and would breach the rights of Nigerians to privacy under Section 37 of the Constitution. Counsel for the CSO, Olumide Babalola, told the courts that the NIMC neglected to conduct a data protection impact assessment before embarking on the digital identification project. And KFM News continues right after this break. Do stay with us. Center for Disease Control, NCDC, says the country has recorded 410 new infections in 16 states that have taken the total number of coronavirus cases to 49,895. The 410 new COVID cases recorded on Tuesday are in Lagos with 210 cases, the Federal Capital Territory with 45, Ondo 30, Plateau 21, Edo 19, Ogun 16, Oyo 13, and Nasarawa 12. Bauchi has 11 new infections, Enugu 10, Kwara 7, Kaduna 6, Anambra 4, Ebonyi 3, Abia 2, and Rivers 1. There are 217 COVID-19 patients discharged across Nigeria in the last 24 hours, bringing the total number of successfully treated cases to 37,051. Meanwhile, 4 new COVID-19 fatalities has been reported as the death toll climbs to 981 nationwide. And the Bayelsa State House of Assembly on Tuesday screened and confirmed 24 commissioner nominees appointed by Governor Doyediri as members of his cabinet. The screening took place 24 hours after Diri asked the Assembly to go ahead with the exercise, despite the nullification of his election by the State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal in Abuja on Monday. The governor, who forwarded the list of nominees to the Assembly last Wednesday, gave the nod when the Speaker, Abraham Ungobare, led a delegation of lawmakers to pay him a solidarity visit at Government House following the judgment. 5 former commissioners who served in the administration of former Governor Sereki Dixon were among the designates cleared by the Assembly. And the West African School Certificate Examination WASC took off on Monday after several months of delay. How does it feel like for students, teachers, and other stakeholders who now struggle with a new reality? Details on our Extra Voices.
Story breaks. KUFM's Extra Voices. The story never dies. It just takes on a new life.
There's no one idea. The toilet is not good.
We don't have any fashion in APC.
We bring you new angles and fresh perspectives to every story, no matter how old or remote.
There are a lot of educated people that are involved in politics nowadays.
We go a little beyond the surface to get you those extra details ignored in the rush for the news.
Now bridge, that will take the cast.
So don't die for inside.
We go beyond the lines to Food Story. Extra Voices airs every Wednesday and weekends on KUFM's major news bulletins.
And after several months of contemplation, the federal government finally granted permission to schools to reopen and conduct the West African Senior School Certificate Examination WASC. The long halt was as a result of the shutdown that followed the coronavirus pandemic. In this edition of Extra Voices, Nosahai Uadiai highlights the journey to school reopening and how students and education stakeholders are adjusting to the demand of new reality in this sector.
The federal government of Nigeria ordered the reopening of schools for students effective 4th of August in preparation for the West African Senior School Certificate Examination. Some states of the Federation, including Edo State, could not resume that day following their inability to meet the guidelines set by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. The Permanent Secretary, Edo State Ministry of Education, Stella Imaswe, said they needed time to put the precautionary measures on ground before school reopening.
Although the federal government said 4th of August, but we need time to put these precautionary measures on ground before we allow our children to go to school.
Even as the state government plans to put things in proper shape, the chairman of School-Based Management Committee, Emotan College, Benin City, Pa Unamure Izedon, is not happy with the state of the college.
I don't feel too comfortable because since we have been at home, the school has been under the hoodlums. No doors and no fence, nothing to protect the school. As a girls' school, they need to be given some facilities like a toilet, water system and everything to ease themselves. All these things should be provided by the Ministry of Education.
What is the community doing about this development?
The community, we wrote a beautiful letter to the Ministry of Education and a copy sent to the governor. They sent the contract. The contractor came here, he said he was ready to do the job, but no fund.
In a swift reaction, the permanent secretary faulted the committee for not doing their job.
The essence of School-Based Management Committee is for them to assist government in ensuring that the schools in their neighborhood is well taken care of. They should own the school is their own in terms of ensuring that even that teachers go there to teach well, in terms of ensuring that the facilities on ground are well taken care of, and even in terms of security.
On 10th of August, students of both private and public schools who enrolled for the certificate exams resumed after 4 months of schools shut down.
I feel very happy because me and some of my classmates, or rather all my classmates, were going to write our final examination, our SSC.
Stella Maris Imaswe explained efforts of government so far.
Most importantly is to ensure that they observe the COVID-19 protocol for the safety of the children while in school. That schools must have the infrared thermometer, they must have their running water with which the children will wash their hands and soap. They should also have sanitizers, and most importantly, all of them should wear their face masks.
Upon resumption, KUFM's Extra Voices crew gathered that many of the students across public and private schools were not wearing face masks or observing the physical social distancing.
You know, children the way they are. Some of them will even put it in their pocket, just the way some adults do. They all have face masks. Government provided for them, and some on their own.
The management of internally displaced persons camp at Uogwa community said their children who enrolled for the exams have been studying in preparation for the senior school exams.
We mandated the children, those in SCT classes, to make sure they read their books every day. They concentrate and get prepared for the exam.
Private School Owners Association of Nigeria in Edo State decried the short period granted students to prepare for the senior school certificate exams.
I am Emmanuel Ohiselache. 2 weeks is too short for the students to reacclimatize to school environment and prepare effectively for WAEC examination, and to avoid mass failure, that there should be extension of time for revision. But while we were waiting for that to settle down, we heard the announcement that resumption is now 10th.
But students expressed mixed feelings.
It's a bit short actually, but it's enough. Most of my classmates now, most of them have not been reading, so they'll need some extra lectures from our teachers.
Although calling us back to school for our exam, it was shocking to us because we thought school end this year till next year before we resume. But to our surprise, we resumed very early and started the exam so fast. I did right well.
Okate Omo Orowome is vice principal of Western Boys High School, Benin City.
Enrolled 124 students. Western Boys High School, being what it is known for, we don't believe in malpractice. We have actually prepared the children, and I'm 100% sure that they will not disappoint us.
While the West African Examination Council, the organizers of the West African Senior School Certificate Examination, commenced the exercise as scheduled, the permanent secretary, Ministry of Education, Edo State, advised parents and students this way.
They shouldn't use somebody else's mask. They shouldn't drink from another person's water bottle. They should also ensure that they wash their hands from time to time. And they shouldn't stay in a crowded place where there are too many people.
The secretary of the Nigerian Union of Teachers, Edo State Wing, Mike Modesty Itua, asked all the authorities concerned to do the needful to avoid any form of disaster in the ongoing works.
So we must ensure that the needful is done so that we don't regret it.
With the shaky start of the exams, some stakeholders have predicted mass failure of students following poor preparation of students. The exam, which began on Monday, 17th of August 2020, will end on Saturday, 12th of September 2020. For KUFM's Extra Voices, Nusa Hai Wadiai.
And coming up in a moment in entertainment news, Tiwa Savage releases track list for new album, Celia. And you're still on to news break on KU 92.7 FM Benin City. Some entertainment stories. Nigerian superstar Tiwa Savage has announced her new album Celia, billed to be released on the 28th of August 2020. The 12-track album will feature Davido, Naira Marley, Sam Smith, Stefflon Don, Hamza, and Dice Els. The announcement came via her social media platform. It was supported by Koroba and Dangerous Love, purported singles like 49.99, Shoton, Owomida, and Attention didn't make the album. When she hosted a listening party for her single 49.99 in 2019, she said she would release a album in the first quarter or second quarter of 2020. While the album has not been released yet, it looks on track for her projection. And gospel singer Sinachi Joseph, popularly known as Sinach, has been nominated in 3 categories, including the biggest song category of the Dove Awards 2020 in the United States with a hit track, Waymaker. The lyrical song, which has received plausible reviews, was nominated Song of the Year, Spanish language recorded Song of the Year, and Worship recorded Song of the Year. Dove Awards is organized by the Gospel Music Association, United States. And Nollywood veteran actor Kanayo Okanayo says it is not in Africa's culture for a man to kneel while proposing to a woman, insisting that it was an act copied from the Western world. Kanayo Okanayo says it is wrong for an African man to kneel while trying to propose to a woman he plans to marry. The movie star made this known via his Instagram page yesterday. According to him, it is not in Africa's culture for a man to kneel while proposing. Kanayo's statement is coming months after his colleague Pete Edochie commented on the same topic and went viral. The movie veteran has likened the kneeling to propose style as a taboo. And that's it from entertainment. And in sports, Barcelona appoints Ronald Koeman as new manager. Elsa Agbeka has more on our sport decks.
Good morning and on to sports news. Where former Everton and Southampton head coach Ronald Koeman has been appointed as the new manager of Barcelona 2 days after the club sacked Quique Setien. The 57-year-old left his role as Netherlands trainer with 2 years left on his contract to sign a 2-year deal with the Spanish Giants. He played for Barcelona between 1989 and 1995, helping them to 4 league titles and the European Cup. The Catalans finished second in La Liga last season, failing to win a trophy for the first time since 2007-2008 season. The 5-point gap to eventual winners Real Madrid and the humiliating 8-2 defeat by Bayern Munich in their UEFA Champions League quarter-final last week culminated in the dismissal of Setien on Monday. The club also announced Ramon Plains as the new technical director. He was the assistant to Eric Abida, who was sacked as sporting director on Tuesday. And finally, Nigerian coach Ndubuisi Egbo is relishing the prospect of his first ever Champions League qualifying match with FK Tirana when they face Georgian side Dynamo Tbilisi in their 2020-2021 UEFA Champions League first round qualifying tie today. Egbo, who led Tirana to the Albanian League title last season, said it is going to be a difficult game because Dynamo Tbilisi have started their league season and they have played about 10 games. Winning the top flight trophy made him the first African to achieve the feat. He is also set to become the first African to manage a team in the UEFA Champions League in today's tie against the Georgians. And that's it from sports. My name is Egusa Aigbeka. Back to you, Omoye.
And that's the news. But before we go, a quick recap of the headlines. Obaseki's 30-year development plan projects opportunities for coastal communities. And over 2.2 million people to vote in Edo governorship election. On Extra Voices today, secondary schools reopen for exam classes as students struggle to adjust after COVID-19 break. Do remember that the continued unity of Nigeria is a collective responsibility. Be sure to play your part. Coronavirus is real. Wash your hands regularly with soap under running water. Use your face masks while in public places and stay safe. KFM's news break was produced by Nusakai Uwadiai. I am Omoye Ogbaide saying thanks for listening. Good afternoon.